It's time for Weeb Shit Monday, home to anime, manga, and spicy hot takes with your host, the podcast daddy.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It has been a minute since I have blessed the live stream capabilities with Weeb Shit Monday. How is everybody doing today? Oh, I'm so glad. Okay, first off, I should probably explain myself. I really should explain myself on what exactly happened and why I didn't upload. I didn't upload a podcast for about 2 weeks. Well, obviously, birthday was last week, so I had shit going on when it came around to Monday time. And it's just been hectic with birthdays all over the place. So it's been a wild fucking ride. It's been wild these last 2 weeks, but we're back consistently with the podcasting shit. As you notice, we are over on Kick, no longer on Twitch, simply because fuck Twitch. That's all I could say. That's really all I have to say is fuck Twitch. So, before I get on to that, because that'll be a different stream that I don't want to do here, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Weeb Shit Monday, the show where I talk about manga, anime, anything really comic book, sort of entertainment-wise. That's what I talk about over here. Now today, you're looking at the screen, or you're listening to the podcast, which, kudos to you, thank you. You've noticed that I've got My Hero Academia, Demon Slayer, Chainsaw Man, and Tokyo Demon Bride Story. Those are all things that I have indulged in the last 2 weeks since the last upload, and it has been a wild fucking ride with all 4 of those stories. I know I put Hell's Paradise. That will be one. If I get to it, I get to it. If I don't, It's still in infancy in anime, so I know the manga is finished, but the anime is still new, so we haven't really got to any key points in the story. But we'll see what it looks like. So, let's start this off right. Tokyo Demon Bride Story is a show that I talked about, I would say, a couple weeks ago. I brought it up. I said that even though the story was still in its infant stages and it only had a max of 30-something chapters into it, I was extremely excited to see where it went. It's a light harem anime. It deals with a boy living with his sisters, and then he has all these demons move in with him because they show how much the human race can be civilized people, how easily they can, just be nice to demons, even though they've tried to kill them. They all tried to fucking kill him, like every single one of them. And it was an interesting story. It was an interesting take. It didn't have a lot of mind-blowing moments, but it held my attention long enough to where I wanted to keep reading it. Come to find out, the last chapter I read was chapter 35, and it ended on such a weird spot, too. The problem was it didn't even have the proper ending that I wanted it to have. It didn't have the, this is nice and wholesome. This is a nice and wholesome ending. It was, I've come to find out that I have a giant threat coming my way, and it's going to be my duty to protect the human race from this big demon that is prophesized to take out the entire world. And my journey starts here. Look on the Shonen Jump app. I'm like, okay, when's the next chapter? Nothing. There's no release date. Not like in 7 days there's going to be a new chapter. Nope. So I was like, okay, that's odd. Maybe they're taking a break for a while. That's fine. They're taking a little break from it. They need to build the story up a little bit before they release it. Need to do the drawing. Need to do all of it. So I was like, all right, fine. That's cool. Whatever. That's dope with me. I'll live on with that. I go to check the official Shonen Jump Twitter, and they made a tweet saying Tokyo Demon Bride Story has been canceled, and I'm just trying to understand why. Because I've read a lot of the Shonen Jump, and it's the same story. There's only a couple of them. There's only a couple of them that really stand out to me. Ones that really, catch my eye, so to say, when it comes to do mangas. But shonen, I get it's a shonen thing, but none of them really stand out like Tokyo Demon Bride Story did. I know it was a lackluster plot, and the drawing was really simple, but you could tell what the fuck was going on with it. You could tell what is happening. Not just like, is that fucking, is that blood? I think it's blood. Hopefully it's blood. Yeah, it was so easy to distinct all of the fight scenes, all of the big action scenes that were happening between the demons and the humans. So to be canceled, I guess, it rubs me the wrong way. Just because we can support other things, like I've seen so many hentai mangas that are getting pushed so far, and so many of them that don't have any meat and bones to it. It's just, here you go, here's this. Well, what is it? It's a new story. Yeah, but it sucks. Well, you know what? Take it or leave it, motherfucker, because that's all you're getting. And I understand that people say, oh, well, piracy is a big problem. Yeah, piracy is a big problem. But it's the same thing with major corporations, too. If you give shit content, people aren't going to want to put their money where their mouth is when it comes to it. They're going to pirate these mangas. They're going to pirate these shows. They're going to pirate all of this stuff because they have been let down so many times by major corporations, by anime studios, by just everybody in this industry. So when they say numbers are low, no shit, numbers are going to be low. You're going to kind of have to deal with that until it builds hype. And I know that shonen is if it doesn't build up the hype, we really don't give a flying fuck what's going on. But if you don't give the story a chance to sort of get more of a foothold, because like I said, 35 chapters, that's not a lot to really work with when you only have one major scene that happens, like one major arc that happens. You only get one major one, and then nothing beyond that, because you build up this big grand, battle and fight scene, and then out of nowhere you're like, well, are they gonna fight them? Are they gonna go after, what's going on? Are they gonna fight them? And shonen and their infinite wisdom is like, guess what, nerd? No. You want more, but numbers don't lie. Yeah, they do. People are reading this shit. They just don't want to pay you guys because they don't want to get shafted out of they don't want to read another shit story for 100 and something chapters. That's how it is, and I don't blame people who pirate. I will never, ever be against pirating, okay? Simply because there have been a lot of trash. There's been so much trash shit that's been put out, and you're like, why does this get an anime, but I have yet to see a proper Gantz anime made, or a proper Berserk anime beyond the fucking Golden Age arc. I mean, the mangas obviously are still thriving, but we never get to see anything flourish because they don't raise numbers, because people don't want to take the risk and they pirate it. And, I've heard this argument before of, oh, well, if you pirate stuff, you have no right to say what's good or what's not. If you want to get down to brass tacks on that, it's not about pirating. It's about the fact that I have spent my time and money reading and watching these series, all of them, and I still have yet, I can put my opinion on it. Just because I didn't pay for it doesn't mean I can't say anything. I have watched it. I have read all of it. I have consumed every last bit of media connected to it. So yes, I do have an opinion on it. Just because I didn't put my fucking money on it doesn't mean I can't say anything about it. So from here on out, if a series is good, please, even if you pirate it, go to the official release. Go to where their official release, or where they will count numbers, as in like read duration, how many chapters in you are. If it counts it, go there. Even if you got to skim through it just to prove that it's been read, please do. If it's a series you like, go to the official release. So it does not get canceled out of fucking thin air like so many things have been, and so many things are going to be. It's not just what has been canceled, it's what's going to be canceled. That's the problem. This is a foretelling, and I know there have been stories canceled before. Like, people have made YouTube videos on Shonen Jump series that have gotten the axe, and I don't want to see any more good stories get that without getting the proper ending. Because when you hit an ending, like the one that Tokyo Demon Bride story had, that ending leaves so many questions for people who legitimately liked it that it pisses us off. And this is why we get so mad at big corporations or big manga publishers is because we wanted more of that. We got the story that we needed, but we got told to get absolutely fucking bent over backwards, bent sideways, got our ass cheeks spread, rammed so hard that God himself looked down and said, ooh, shit, that even hurt me. So that's all I got to say about Tokyo Demon Bride story. If you like a series, just go to the official release and find a way to read it, because most of these places do a free chapter reading after it's been out for like a week. So if you can, wait a week. If need be, I have a general rule when it comes to pirating. My general rule is that I will legally download something, and listen to it, watch it, play it. And if I like it enough that I want more updates, or I want to be part of that community more, where I can join into multiplayer games or be able to have everything that comes out recently, and I don't want to spend time trying to find ways to still be a part of it without being like, hey, I kind of legally downloaded this, I'll buy it, because I know that the developers and the creators need the money to kind of get the support of what it is. So, and that one more thing, I was going to go on to My Hero Academia next, but it hit me while I was trying to think of how I wanted to transition this into My Hero Academia. A couple weeks ago, me and Deadman from VT Network did a stream on Redo of Healer. And if you've watched Redo of Healer, there's a lot of sexual assault scenes in that. There's a lot of violence, a lot of titties, like a whole bunch of titties. And people are like, okay, well, we like the first part. When can we get a part 2? When can we get like a part 2 of the anime? Because there's still more. We haven't figured out who the demon queen girl is here. We want to see her become demon queen. And of course, the creator's like, well, if you want it, you got to show us you want it. And that is one of those. If it's not on a major a major streaming network or a major streaming site, that's kind of a hard fucking thing to figure out. Like, yeah, I want more. It's just another like, well, I'll watch this on a site because I really don't want anybody that knows me or knows how to look at my watch history to know that I've watched that. Like, I want that to stay underground. So you kind of have to look at the have to look at the pirating numbers as well. And that sounds shitty, that sounds bad, because it's, why not support the official release? And the official release is such a fucking cunt to find. If you don't have friends that have been in the anime community or the manga community for a long time, it's extremely complicated to find these new places that aren't extremely complicated to find websites that have the uncensored. That's a big thing, is uncensored content. Or where to find mangas where they're not translated into shit. Looking at you, Pumpkin Knight, still pissed off about that. It's hard to find it if you don't know the people that you should go to. So I think a lot of companies, if they're just starting out or if they're just releasing an anime that is newer, they should go to these pirating websites. So they can see the numbers that episode has got. They can see it without being on like the official Crunchyroll app or Viz Media, where those are on major streaming sites. Those are ones you can look at numbers and be like, oh, holy fuck, well, it's doing good. But if you don't have that, it is a pain to try and find. And that's simple as that. And if you want, look at numbers on the back end websites too, because that will show a level of appreciation that the fans have for what you're trying to produce, not just what's in the major sphere. Piracy in the manga and anime community is a very touchy subject, but it's definitely one that needs to be talked about a lot. Like, a lot. So, My Hero Academia. I'm all caught up, but I'm severely disappointed with it. Now, if you're in the anime, this point right here is where you can tune out. Because I'm going into manga territory with these next 3 stories. So if you were only here for anime talk, sorry, but it ends here if you don't want spoilers. My Hero Academia. I've read up to the latest chapter before Gold Week this past week, and it's the war arc between UA and the League of Villains. I was cool with it. I was ready for it because I seen the dark... Okay, hold on. Dark Deku era, or little story arc, which wasn't Dark Deku. Let me remind you. I was so excited for Dark Deku because I wanted to see Deku just go balls to the fucking wall. The entire series, he's been this goody two-shoes, always follows the rules, never really does anything that's really out there that sort of breaks barriers or breaks story formation of how you think it's going to go. It's kind of just been Deku good guy. Deku need help from friends. Deku going to be the best superhero to ever exist. I wanted this arc to be Deku finally loses his shit and just starts actually killing people. I wanted Deku to start murdering people, if you want me to be honest. I wanted him to go balls to the wall and just start killing villains if they didn't tell him where All for One was. That's where I wanted it. I wanted it there. And I get to the Dark Deku arc. I get there. Oh, I get to the Dark Deku arc. And it's nothing of what I wanted. It's nothing of what I wanted to read. All it is Deku still being the goody two-shoes that he is, but now he has all of the other entities from One for All. Sorry about that. He has all of the powers that comes with his quirk. From all of the past owners of it, they're all talking to him. They're all guiding him on how to use it. He's OP and still the same person. There was no growth in the Dark Deku saga. The little 10 chapters we had of Dark Deku, there was no change in what he was. The only change that we seen was he didn't want his friends helping him, which is not really a fucking change. Actually, now that I sit and think about it, the Dark Deku was not a change because the entire series, he's always had help from his friends. He's always wanted help from his teammates. And this one time he's like, I don't need help. I don't want to put you guys in danger. And it's like, that's the one thing we're going to take away from this entire arc, is that he didn't want help from his friends and now he's OP. Okay. All right. It was such a letdown. And I think that's what I was so pissed about, is it was such a letdown for what I thought it would be. And then we continue on, after he gets in this big fight with all of his friends, and they say, it's just a big sob scene. That's all it is. It's a big sob scene of all his classmates and everybody being like, Deku, you were such a good person. Like, that's all that fight is. That's all it is. And it's so pathetic. It's so sad. It's sad to read. Not as in like a sad, like I got tears streaming down my face by how absolutely emotional this is. No, it's sad as in like, wow. This was really original, wasn't it? You guys really sat down in the drawing room and thought, this will be the arc that shows Deku growing as a person. No, it's not. It just shows that Deku is still the same person he was. He just cries less. Not by a lot, but a little. He cries less. That's all that was. And it's shitty. It's extremely shitty to see it like that. And then, he obviously listens to his friends. He goes back to UA, yada yada yada, and then we get to the big war arc between UA and the League of Villains, or the Liberation of Villains. Villains for Liberation. One of the two. It's one of those two fucking names. It's one of those two Legion of Doom-esque names. It's the same as any other giant fucking war arc. It is any. It is fucking any anime war arc that exists that has happened. It happened in Naruto Shippuden. As soon as I started seeing past characters get brought up from like the past volumes, all the story, as soon as I seen them start popping up one by one, I was in my head, I was fucking screaming. I was screaming so loud because I was like, why? Why can we not have one big arc, like one big war arc where we don't have to bring back all of these characters just to make it fucking interesting? We shouldn't. It should be a go all out brawl between UA and League of Villains. That's what it should be. Not Tom, Dick, and Harry getting thrown in here because, well, we couldn't really think of anything else, but we got to keep this going because this is bringing in so much money that my ass is starting to get crusty because I don't have enough $100 bills to wipe it with. Why? Just please give me a reason why we can't just end this arc here where Deku's obviously going to win. You know, that's the shitty part. Because 9 times out of 10, the story follows, hero kills villain, big hip hip hooray, you know, nobody dies, it's all good. That's what it burns down to. That's fine. I understand that will happen. So get to it. Get to it, because I know this story isn't going to break the mold. This story will not break any sort of mold that is held by that specific arc. No fucking way. No fucking way that the final act, the final war arc, will break any barriers in storytelling. It's going to be the same as Shippuden. I put it here, May 2nd, 2023. My Hero Academia is going to do the same thing that Naruto did, where it's going to end, you know, hero beat villain, villain die, villain sees error of ways right before he dies. Deku become great superhero. Deku live great life as superhero. And I know this is how it's gonna go, and I'm not gonna be a cunt hole about it, but I'm gonna be a cunt hole about it. This should end. My Hero Academia needs to be a story that just stops. Once it ends, leave it be. Let it die. Let it fucking sit in its grave and die. Do not give it a Boruto treatment. Do not give it a My Hero Academia, the second generation of heroes. No. Dead. Leave it dead. Let it die. Let it just rot in its grave where it needs to be. Because this is going to be pushed so far, and it's going to get filled up with filler, that it's going to annoy people to get to the end of it, that when they finish it, they're just going to scream, holy fuck! Been 3 years. They started this arc 3 years ago. Finally, Deku and the... My brain is moving so fast because this arc just irritates me. Deku and the guy who does the rot, that's his quirk, is the rot. They finally fight. It's finally them. 1 versus 1. It's done. It's done. And the last thing I want to say about My Hero Academia, this was brought up in an article, which I'm like, okay. Usually I don't like when, you know, websites talk about manga or anime because they have such the iciest cold takes that you could dip your balls in those takes and freeze them up to fucking peas. That's 9 times out of 10 what it is. But one website brought up a good point. I think we need to see a all for one and one for all final match. And I thought about that. I was like, that would be a great way to end this series. Like I said before, they're going to end it with Deku coming out on top with no help, just him and either the Rot guy or All for One. That's how it's going to end. I'm calling it now. But a great way to end this story, and I mean just the perfect ending, would be All for One, One for All, going for a final clash. One for All finds a way to get all of his powers, or finds a way to get One for All back. We don't know how. I'm not going to question it, but he gets it back and he starts, transforming into All Might. And they just go out in this all-out brawl. I mean, leveling cities, leveling the entire battlefield. And as soon as All Might stands up and he's the winner and he's holding All for One's head right in his hand, and the quirk is gone. The quirk disappears. One for All disappears. The quirk does. All Might still lives, but All for One is done. But I know that's not going to happen. Unfortunately, I know it's not going to happen. It's a heartbreaking thing. It's an extremely heartbreaking thing that I know it's going to happen, and that sucks. Because that would be a great ending. But we won't get it. We won't get it. It'll be the same safe ending that we were expecting before. And I'm going to keep reading it until the end simply because I want to see how My Hero Academia ends. I've been through the journey. I'm all the way up. I want to see how the rest of this ends. Oh, need a goddamn smoke after talking about that shit. Next up, Chainsaw Man. Again, I shouldn't have to say this because I said at the beginning of My Hero Academia, but we are going to be going into manga territory, so if you don't like hearing spoilers about mangas, then bye-bye. Bye-bye. Thank you. Drop a follow. Do the normal shit. But, so we are in this newest arc of Chainsaw Man, where Denji has basically defeated Makima, and he is now raising a reincarnation of her. I still don't understand how that happened, but it happened. It's been a weird one because we've been focusing on this girl named Anna, who has been possessed by the War Devil. I'm thinking, War Devil, okay, cool, I'm all for this. I was for it until we found. So basically, the War Devil's power is they can make a weapon out of anything. You could grab this. You could grab this vape, make it a giant fucking sword. Be like, vape sword. Just pop it out, and you got a gigantic breeze that you could just cut somebody in half with. They've been dealing with how the War Devil is. Anna's. See, the thing is, I keep saying Anna, but I know I'm pronouncing that wrong. I think it's Anna. But of course, not even close to being made in the anime. Not even fucking close. So, the War Devil says, you need to find a weapon big enough to start leveling cities. And she's like, okay, well, how can I do that? Like, I'll do it just so, I can be accepted. And the War Devil's like, well, Skippy, you gotta find somebody that you have a genuine connection with. Mind you, this is like 20 chapters into this new arc, and you were like, well, where the fuck is Denji? Like, I've gotten maybe a chapter where he's in, and it doesn't deal with him at all. Where the fuck is he? Everybody's like, oh, nope, you gotta focus on Anna. What? Look at Anna. Look at her. Watch her. Do you see what Anna is doing? Yeah, that's who we're focusing on. It's like, it's not called the War Devil. It's called fucking Chainsaw Man with Denji. So Anna and Denji decide to start talking, start going on a date after Anna, thinks that he's a fucking loser, just like everybody else does, because nobody knows he's Chainsaw Man, even though Denji, with his whole ass, tries to, let people know, like, hey, Chainsaw Man, yeah, it's me. Yeah, all that shit that happened with the other devils? Yeah, that was my doing. I did that. I'm the big boss demon killer pimp Chainsaw Man. That's who I am. I rip demons' asses, and then I'll kiss your mom on the mouth. So obviously we get Anna and Denji starting to build a relationship. We come to Anna's backstory of her being an orphan, her letting people down, her never being able to hold a sincere relationship because, she's fucking awkward. Hold on. Oh, almost threw up back. Because, you know, she's just a fucking awkward teen, and she thinks that nobody's ever gonna love her, nobody's ever gonna, you know, treat her the way that she wants to be treated, and then she's like, okay, yeah, you're probably right. Do you want to come over and watch movies with me? You want to come over and have a date and just kind of watch some movies? And this is throwing her off because she's like, oh, somebody's actually showing me this. But the War Devil's like, do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. He is going to love you. He is going to gain your heart. And I want you to turn that into a fucking weapon. Do you understand me, you dumbass? And it's like, okay, well, I really don't want to do that. But yeah, let's run it. So they start building it up. And then, you know, Makima's reincarnation that Denji is raising sees that they're hanging out, see that they're on a date, and she's like, I don't like her. I don't want her around here. You need her to leave. And what I love about this is because we're seeing Denji trying so hard to get a date. Like, instead of what we've seen in the first couple arcs where we've seen Power and Denji kind of building up this relationship. No. Now it's Denji and Anna. But of course, the Makima reincarnation is like, yeah, get her the fuck out, bro. Go. You gotta kick her out. So, you know, Anna thinks that Denji just straight up abandoned her. She says, I knew it. I was right. Nobody loves me. Nobody wants, blah, 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 blah. And we get the newest, biggest devil that is coming into this series. We haven't got a name yet. I've noticed that. We haven't got a name for this devil. It's just Chef. Like, that's what the entire internet is calling her, is her, him. It's very hard to decipher in manga sometimes. But it's a chef devil. And it can get cut up into pieces. It can get decapitated. It can get its limbs cut off. And it still just survives. So I was like, okay, this will be cool. And one of her, she thrives. I'm just going to call this devil she, because that's what it looks like the most. But she thrives off of past trauma. Yeah, she thrives off the trauma of her victims, and that's how she gains her powers. Still don't know how it works. This is still like just introducing her. She's only 3 chapters deep into being introduced, so still kind of just wading the waters on this. But she of course goes after Anna. And Anna has this, and this was one of those scenes in Chainsaw Man where I was like, oh, this gives me the ich. Gives me the ich. And it goes back into Anna's backstory of how she was an orphan. And she found this cat. You know, she found this cat and became best friends with it, you know, became a little buddy, something that would just, you know, walk around with her and all happy skippy. And the lady's like, oh, I like this cat. Who is it? And, you know, little Anna goes, oh, it's, you know, it's my family. You know, it's my family, you know, since I don't actually have a real family. And the owner of the orphanage goes, but you have the rest of those kids. Those kids are your family. She's like, yeah, I don't like them. I like this cat, though. This cat's my family. Anna goes to bed, wakes up, cat's not there. Everybody finds a dead cat near the river. And Anna looks at the orphanage runner, and I love how this was paneled, how this was drawn, because it's just that creepy, like, dead fucking stare look. She's like, I told you those other kids were your family. Now they have to be your family. And that was one of those scenes where even if it comes to animal abuse in any form of media, I'm just, gives me the ick. The major fucking ick. So Denji is, of course, trying to go save Anna because he's just, you know, wanting to bust. And I know I don't want to hear anybody moral fag about this where they say, oh, well, he's 17. Yes, he's 17. We get it. We understood. Let's move past that and actually go into the story. Denji's trying to save Anna because he's trying to fuck. Simple as that. That's what it is. So he starts fighting the chef devil. And he goes to start fighting her, and she goes into Denji's brain as Chainsaw Man. Okay, major story spoiler here, so mute it if you want to, or listen. So after Aika and Power both got killed, Denji remembers that. That's still trauma in his head. So what does Denji do? Denji does not decide, hey, I'm going to face this trauma head on. I'm going to get over it. I'm going to work through it. And I'm going to be a better person because I now understand what this trauma has done to me. Nope. Right in his fucking forehead. Just puts the chainsaw from his arm right into his skull, gives himself a lobotomy. And this is one of the reasons why I love Denji as a main character, is because it's never like a thought through process on how he wants to deal with these things. It's just instant. This'll work, might hurt me, boom, gonna do it. And I think that's very well for his character, because it doesn't give you the normal of like, he's gonna find some super intelligent way. It's like, nope. Oh, a lobotomy. Oh, okay. Oh, okay, the villain is scared of fire. He's gonna light himself on fire. Okay. All right. Yeah, sure, Denji. Go right ahead. Do it. Oh, this villain is afraid of big groups. My thing has always been, Denji doesn't do the normal way of thinking it. He just does it. And I love that about him. So we get more of a fight. That's obviously the end scene. And then the second to last chapter ends funny, but then the next chapter gets so fucking confusing. The second chapter is Anna basically saying, I've had a shit life. Nobody will love me. Nobody will want me to be around. I might as well just die. Fucking kill me. And Denji's like, no, grabs her and like is holding her. And he's like, yeah, life fucking sucks. Life is awful. Life is terrible. There's not a lot of things in this world that would make you want to continue living throughout it. But you know what? I can look through the shit. I can look at, have a mate. I can have a goal and want to stick to it that would make me want to keep going. And Anna being so inspired by Denji's speech that he understands that life fucking blows, but he wants to continue living. And Anna, so moved and thrilled by this speech, wants to know, Denji, what is it that keeps you going? And the last panel of that chapter says, I want to have sex. In normal Denji fashion, if you remember in the first story arc, he says, I just want to touch boobs. No, the end of this story arc, he's like, I just want to fuck. Again, you could not write a better main character like Denji. You really couldn't. You could not, for this type of humor that they're trying to portray. The last one. That's all I got to say about Chainsaw Man, because I don't want to do a big go over about it until it ends. So expect a big Chainsaw Man go over when it finishes. The last one that we're going to go through is Demon Slayer. Demon Slayer is in the swordsman arc of the manga. The manga is finished. But this is more of me just kind of wrapping up what I thought about watching the anime, because I'm going to do a dedicated stream to just Demon Slayer where I can pull clips and stuff. So we're just going to kind of go over what my thoughts are concerning the anime. I started it the other day, and I don't want to stop it, because the voice acting for all of the characters is phenomenal. Like, none of them sound like they're out of place. Tanjiro still sounds like a whiny little shit. Nezuko, the couple times that she talks, is not that bad. Like, it's kind of that whiny anime girl voice. Inosuke is still my favorite person, the boarhead, just because you'll notice a common theme with main characters, like a common theme with them that I like, and that is just, if there's no general thought about it, but I'm going to win this fight, fuck it. Let's run it, boys. I'm ready to take on the world. Are you ready for me? No, too bad. I'm going to beat that ass full fucking force. And he does, every single time. And then, I don't like the other person in the big three that they have, simply because He's just a whiny little shit. Like, his fighting style, yes, is dope. His fighting style is fucking fresh. He only has one form, but he finds new ways to use that to beat the enemies that he is put up against. But the only problem is the only time that he can do this is when he's passed out. He can't do it when he's awake because he's too much of a chicken shit pussy. And, like, I understand that. It's the funny haha aspect of it. But it's so just, yeah, I can't put into words how much I dislike this fucking character for that reason. Because it's just whiny. It's whiny all the fucking time. Or it's the pervert character. You know, it's the obsessive, I want every woman and I love every woman and every woman wants me. That's what that character is. And you can't do that anymore. That character is so fucking overused and overplayed that we see new ones, and if you don't bring a new taste to it, it's just, ugh, leaves a bad taste in your mouth. Just, ugh. Like Sanji. When we found out why Sanji is kind of, I won't hit females, you know, the like, I mean, it makes sense for Sanji's character why he refuses to hit females. That makes sense. Mind you, I've read the manga, so I understand, you know, I can see past this. But in this entire time, we do not see why. We don't see why the blonde-haired guy ever acts this way around women. Never. We get no explanation. Nobody ever talks about it. So it's like, well, okay, I didn't give a shit now, and now that I've got no reason to, I don't care. I don't care what happens to him. It's Chainsaw Man and Demon Slayer hold the same thing here. I want this to have its own dedicated because it is such a massive story. So that's really all I can say about Demon Slayer at the moment, because I want to dedicate a lot of time to Demon Slayer, like a whole stream to it so I can provide clips and stuff. But the couple things I did like about Demon Slayer were how it is animated. It is animated fucking beautifully. The animators put in their heart and soul. And my favorite part of the animation is when anytime a fighter uses a breathing technique. Any technique for that, but the ones that stick out to me are the breathing techniques, because once the technique starts, it is drawn in a very old school Japanese way. Like it's classic Japan style. And that just tickles the art lover in me so much, because the rest of it looks like an anime, but then you come to the fighting styles and it looks like a painting is coming to life every time they swing their blade or they begin to announce an attack. Yes, they still follow that trope of announce attack before I do attack. I kind of seen that coming. Wasn't really surprised. Wasn't really pleased, but it happens. Demon Slayer is definitely one I would recommend. Read the manga for the story. Watch the anime for the fights. Definitely. Wholeheartedly watch the anime for the fights. And the last one we are going to talk about, I said if we had time at the end, but we do have time. We do have a little bit of time to cover Hell's Paradise. Hell's Paradise is another one where the manga is finished. I didn't know the manga was finished. I thought this was like still a new series. Fucking apparently it's not. And they just released episode 4, I think, on Sunday. They stick to the normal anime release schedule, which is every Sunday. And this revolves around, I think his name is Genjiro the Hollow, I think. Yeah. Genjiro the Hollow. It deals with an assassin who will not die. And the entire first episode revolves around him just like sitting there wanting to get killed. He's like, nobody can fucking kill me. Like, none of you have that power to actually kill me. And I mean, it's not like they don't try. You know, they try every single way to kill him. They try to set him on fire. They try to give him try to cut his head off. They try to pull him apart with bulls. Nothing kills him. So like, oh, okay, cool. So we have like an invincible assassin here. Awesome. I'm ready for this. I want more of this. But we don't figure out why he's invincible. And the entire first episode, he's being interrogated by the I want to say a female samurai. I don't know if they have a certain name that they go by, but a female samurai, and she's like, well, why do you do, why do you want to die? And he says, because I don't want to upset my wife anymore. And it clicks in his head. He's like, that's why I can't die, because my will to get back to her is stronger than anything else. And then we figure out that, he's married, and the reason he won't die is because his body will not physically let him, because he wants to return to his wife. It's cheesy, but I like the cheese. I like the cheese of it. I'm a simp for an action comedy romance. I'm a simp for it. I won't deny it. I won't lie. Okay, if I hold my hands back, man, I will not deny that. So the government of this series has decided there is an island that holds the elixir of life, which is an immortality potion. They said, we're going to gather all these criminals, all these assassins, all these ne'er-do-wells, or these nut stains on the underwear of life, and we're going to send them to this island, and whoever can find this elixir will be set free, will be pardoned completely. Nothing on their record. You could have been a kitty diddler, murderer, a genocidal maniac, but as long as you find this potion of life, well, we're going to turn a blind eye to what you did there, fam. So they get everybody around, and they tell them everything. But it's like, okay, this sounds good, but they have a twist. The boats we're going to take you to this island on, we only have room for about 15 people. There's 40 of you here. Kill each other. Lower the numbers. Thin out all these numbers that are happening. Everybody starts freaking out, and in normal anime fashion, we have a gigantic ass bloodbath. People getting killed left and right. This person dies. That person dies. This person dies. That person dies. Everybody. And this big guy goes after Gijiro. Or Gijiro. I will never pronounce his name right. They go, he sees him just sitting there, kind of just like, I'm going to wait till all you fuckers kill each other. Hooray. And he says, I'm going to kill you. And then Gijiro's like, I'm just going to start saying main character. So the main character's like, you don't want to do this. You don't want, in a nicer way, he's like, you don't want this smoke. I don't want this smoke. I don't want to kill you. Killing you would be fucking pointless. I would waste breath killing you. Big guy's like, fine, then just stand still and catch these hands. The big guy tries to kill the main character. Nothing. And main character tries saying, like, look, killing is pointless. Killing each other is fucking pointless. Killing anybody is pointless. And the big guy's like, well, then just stand there and die, because I want to get this elixir of life. I want you dead. I want to be pardoned. Main character's like, all right, well, I tried. I tried warning you, and just starts killing everybody. A solid 20 people. Just going at it, kicking heads in, tearing throats out. Just a gory scene of one person. And everybody now sees why he's one of the most feared assassins to exist in this world. And just to remind you, this is all so he could get back to his wife. Again, the cheese is there. And it's beautiful. And it's great. I'm only going to give you a couple episode synopsis because this is still early. So if that sounds good to you, go check it out. Go on Crunchyroll. Go on any website that you listen to, or any website that you use to watch anime on. Go watch it. Go give it the numbers. Go give it the numbers it deserves. It definitely deserves to be talked about a lot more than what it has been. It's made by MAPPA, so obviously MAPPA swings their big animation dick all over the place, which they deserve to. They deserve to swing that motherfucker high and low. So go give Hell's Paradise a watch. Go give Hell's Paradise the love that it definitely deserves. But that has been all the stories. That is everything that I have read and watched these last 2 weeks. It's been a crazy 2 weeks of getting indulged in something. I'm trying to figure out what I want next week to be. I haven't found a new story. I've been catching up on this, reading all of this. So I'm thinking of like a short little story. Maybe try and start Fire Punch, made by the guy who made Chainsaw Man. I've heard that's good. I might revisit Gantz, or JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I'm going to host a poll. Twitter.com. If I could fucking spell, that'd be beautiful. Twitter.com/enough snuff. That right there is my Twitter. Score Nerd, buddy. It's nice to see you. We're at the tail end of it. Like, I am kind of winding it down. I'm going to run a poll, and that's going to run. It's going to run all the way into tomorrow on which series we should do next. The three choices are Fire Punch, Gantz, or JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Now, the only problem with that is Gantz is a hefty story. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is a very hefty story. So it would be a definite, like, in parts, or it would be a in parts sort of stream, which it might just stick with Fire Punch or something small, like a small series. Nothing over 200 chapters. That's my limit. Nothing over 200 chapters, or just cover. I'm going to run the poll. Go to Twitter. Vote on it. I got parts that you can Fire Punch. Yeah, but like, I wouldn't have to put a lot of effort into punching those parts there, Scornered, coming to my anime talking. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give this a proper send-off. If you have been here for 1 minute, 10 minutes, 60 minutes, or the entire thing, we're going to start this here. If you've been here for 1 minute, 10 minutes, 60 minutes, or the entire thing, I greatly appreciate you giving me time, especially being on a brand new platform with not even over 10 followers. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I gotta stop looking at him. If you want to follow me on any social media, I am Podcast Eddie in a lot. Podcast Eddie 1 on TikTok, Podcast Eddie on Instagram, Enough Snuff on Twitter. If you don't want to watch the video version of this and you want to hear the audio version, go to any podcasting platform, Podcast Eddie Variety Show. It will be on that feed. We are, again, going to start churning out shit regularly again. We're going to start turning out episodes regularly again instead of just here and there. But if you want to watch the replay of this that's not on Kick, go to youtube.com/podcastaddy. And you will find all past archives of the podcast, including episodes with Scornered, Koala Doll, Breeding Pool, Dead Man. Did I say Piggies? Just a whole gaggle of characters. And I think that's all I have to shill. The Rage Pirates. Let me shill that. That I should improve. The Rage Pirates, yes, the Rage Pirates. I don't know. I would throw a Scorn. I gotta ask. Oh God, I gotta ask Scorn. Jesus. All right, it's gonna chop up a little bit here, but I'm going to throw an invite for that in here. And this is where you can find people like me, Scornered, Piggies, Koala Doll. A lot of the people that I actually associate with are in here, and we would like to see you in here too. It is a server that is of free speech. We will never hate you for your opinion, but you better have facts to present with your opinion. It will never be one. It will never be one where we coddle you, where we try to, kiss the ass of any. There we go. Right there. It's right there. Go click on it. Go join it. Yeah, it doesn't work. I still have to do the. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, did it? Oh, it ended my stream. That's fucking dumb. Because I clicked out of OBS? No, okay, it's still going. It's still going. You did it right. I just have to set up the stream alerts for it. So, anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that is all. Okay, cool. I'm still live. Ladies and gentlemen, that is all. Thank you very much for joining me. Everybody, have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful night. And as always, please, for the love of God, simply because you watch anime, and I know how half of you are, keep your balls clean.